Hi, my name is Joe Jackson. I'm a journalist, author, interviewer and broadcaster. I became an interviewer purely to meet my music heroes, starting with Leonard Cohen. And I went on to interview roughly 1,400 celebrities, not all of whom were my heroes, I hasten to add. In fact, some turned out to be a pain in the ass, but that's another story which I will tell to varying degrees in my podcast, The Joe Jackson Interviews. But for now, what you're about to hear is a clip from one such interview. The audio version is available as a podcast in the Joe Jackson Interview series. The uncensored tapes, meanwhile, are available from me, as are print editions of the interviews, via my website, joejacksoninterviewer.com.
I'm doing great. This is fun for me.
Okay, good.
So, you see, that was fun to James Tayor. But the man clearly didn't have fun later when I finally raised the subject of Carly Simon. He'd said he believes it's better to have had multiple romantic and sexual relationships rather than, say, settle down and marry at 18. So I asked him,
Were you too young when you married Carly Simon? Were you both too young, or were you both too caught up in the lifestyle?
I think I was too young, not necessarily in terms of my the amount of time that I've been on the planet, but just in terms of my own development. I was too unconscious.
Was that the contributory factor to the break of the marriage?
I don't know.
Did you learn from the failure to reapply any to your current marriage?
I hope so.
Was it a learning process at the end, a painful process, but a positive in the end?
Yes, I like to think so. Sure.
Are you still friends?
Am I friends with Carly?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that we were friends. No, I tend to want to have as little contact with her as possible, and I assume that the feeling's mutual. We communicate somewhat about the kids, and that's it. Yeah.
It ended up that bitterly?
I wouldn't say it's terribly bitter.
Yeah.
I just think that it ended, and I prefer to have very limited contact with.
It would strike a lot of people as quite sad, those people who had kind of an idealized vision of romantic lovers in the early 70s and held up certain couples who were in the public eye as, Christ, if we could be like them or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's their problem. That's their problem.
With their ideal.
I'm not interested in
distorted perceptions.
I'm not interested. Well, distorted perceptions are interesting. I'm not interested in living my life in any way to accommodate people's distorted perceptions of what romantic love is or should be in other people.
Hi, Joe Jackson here again. Don't forget to check out my podcast, The Joe Jackson Interviews, on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts, and on joejacksoninterviewer.com. Thank you again for listening.